Hey there, everyone! Welcome back to our Bible verse vlog series. Today, we're diving into the timeless story of the book of Psalms, chapter 86, verses 1 to 17, from the King James Version. In this powerful passage, we see the author, David, pouring out his heart to God, expressing his deepest desires and needs. Psalm 86 is a heartfelt prayer by David, expressing his deep reliance on God during a time of immense trouble and danger. Verses 1-7, a plea for God's mercy and help. Verse 1, David implores God to hear his prayer and answer him, acknowledging his poverty and need. Verse 2, he asks God to protect his soul, appealing to God's goodness and his own faith and trust in him. Verse 3, David begs for God's mercy, noting that he cries out to him constantly. Verse 4, he asks God to rejoice his soul, expressing his dependence on God for comfort and joy. Verse 5, David praises God for his goodness, forgiveness, and abundant mercy towards those who call upon him. Verse 6, he repeats his plea for God to hear his prayer and attend to his supplications. Verse 7, David affirms his confidence that God will answer him in his time of trouble. Verses 8-10, acknowledging God's greatness and uniqueness. Verse 8, David acknowledges that there is no God like the Lord, and no works comparable to his. Verse 9, he anticipates a future when all nations will come to worship the Lord and glorify his name. Verse 10, David emphasizes God's greatness and the wondrous things he does, proclaiming him as the only true God. Verses 11-13, committing to God's way and trusting in his deliverance. Verse 11, David asks God to teach him his way and unite his heart to fear his name, committing to walk in truth. Verse 12, he vows to praise God with all his heart and glorify his name forever. Verse 13, David recognizes God's great mercy and acknowledges his deliverance from the depths of Sheol, the grave. Verses 14-17, seeking protection from enemies and a sign of God's favor. Verse 14, David describes the proud and violent men who have risen against him, seeking to harm him. Verse 15, he proclaims God's compassionate and gracious nature, his long-suffering, and his abundance of mercy and truth. Verse 16, David pleads for God to turn towards him and show him mercy, giving strength to his servant. Verse 17, he asks for a sign of God's favor, so that his enemies will see and be ashamed, knowing that God has helped and comforted him. In essence, Psalm 86 is a powerful expression of faith and dependence on God during a time of crisis. David's prayer is filled with humility, recognizing his own need and God's greatness. He appeals to God's mercy, faithfulness, and power to deliver him from his enemies and guide him on the path of truth. Thank you for joining us on this spiritual journey. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting and inspirational content. Until next time, stay blessed and keep spreading positivity. Have a blessed day.